All right, you just practiced with 13-year-olds. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it sounds weird, but yeah, I do work for a Swedish gambling company here, and we do some. We go around and meet some teams, and I ended up here today. My free will, actually. I wanted to come here. This team, this independent team's been winning the Swedish Championship, the men's league for a few years, and I wanted to see how they work and how they are so good as they are. So it was a exciting day for me to come here and practice and hang out with the young guys.
Do you play floorball otherwise?
I play as often as I can, and as long as my fiance lets me play. Every Monday night, and then I with a few older people, and then with the firemen's, I once or twice a week I'm going to start practicing with them too. I love playing floorball. Hockey, I don't know, it's been pretty good at hockey, and then you're not even close now, so it's not so much fun anymore. But playing floorball is, I could be out there for an hour and don't feel tired. But then when I come home, I'm dead. But while you're running after a ball, I just love it, and 1 hour is no problem. I just enjoy playing.
When did you first play floorball?
I played, when we practiced back in the days with Modo back in when the hockey team, every summer we every warm-up was 20 minutes of floorball, and then I played a little bit in the team back home when I was 14, 15 too. So obviously when you're pro over there, you don't really get to play that much. But now when I retired, I try to play as much as I can.
What makes it such a great sport?
Well, it's fast, and it's the closest kind of thing to hockey you have, except putting the skates on. So. But everybody can play. It's pretty even, I would say. We play with the older guys on Monday nights. They could be 60, but they're still pretty decent players. And as long as you're smart, you can get out there and play and be good for a long time.
As a hockey player, what skills do you think you can improve playing floorball?
On the hand-eye coordination, I would say, is the ball comes pretty quick at you, and you got to be ready, and then. It's quickness overall. It's a fast sport. You turn up, you're a centerman, and the D's are right there with you, and you got to make a move pretty fast. You got to know where your teammates are. So it's everything. Hockey is played a little bigger area. So floorball, everything is just a little quicker, and you got to be ready.
What potential do you see for floorball to grow in North America and the world?
Well, I think it got good potential. It might take some time, but they have the arena, the rinks. You can play on a basketball court. It just gets the boards, and I think you can play. I was talking to a few people that run some a few camps over there, and floorball's one of them, and to do a few other things during the day. But when they have a spare time, they go play floorball again, and it's pretty exciting. It's just. And if you show a stick and a ball to a guy or a girl that walks by, everybody stops and stick handles and tries it. So I think you got good potential. It might take some time to grow, like everything else when you come to new countries, and they have their tradition with baseball, football, and all that. But it might take some time. But soccer is coming over there, and I think floorball, because it's not too many injuries, and it's not any concussions. It's not as hard as football and hockey and a few other things. So. I think parents, I would love to see my kid play floorball. It's a game. It's hard played, but it's not as serious injuries as the other sports. So I think it's got good potential.
The 13-year-olds got to challenge you. How did it go?
No, they were good. You can tell that it's a floorball town. Everybody's good, and I was playing 1 against 3 there in the beginning. I could handle that, but 1 against 4 was a little tough, and I got a little tired after a while. But it was like I said in the beginning, it was exciting to be here and to see how this organization is run, and so hopefully I get to come back one day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Like, let's say, for instance, I'm a forward and I'm transitioning in the neutral zone. My defensemen have the puck down there, and I'm transitioning, and I want to do a quick crossover so that I can try to get a pass coming as my defensemen are coming out of the offensive zone. I'm in the neutral zone. So I want to pick up speed, kind of like a Matthew Lombardi or a Rick Nash, or you know, players like that. So I want to be coming through here like this, and I want to be coming through and then looking for the pass right here. So I want to try to generate as much speed as I can. So one of the teaching cues that I've been using a lot is telling the players, think about the crossover, but also think about the cross under. So let me go in fast motion now and take a look at my skates and notice that I'm pushing off hard with the outside skate, but I'm also pushing hard with the inside skate as I cross under. So watch my skates on this. So here we go. And then I would go into the offensive zone. And then if I go the other way, look at my skates again. So this time I'll come towards the camera. So watch my skates again. So I'm making these big crossovers. So again, it's observation based on me watching some high performance players, primarily in the National Hockey League, doing these transitions and noticing when they're in the neutral zone especially, they have a really long cross under. So if you're watching them, you can see that they push under like this. So they're pushing under, pushing under. So that may be one helpful hint or coaching point that will help your players become better at not only crossovers, but accelerating with the crossover.
Dennis Chighisola's The Nature of Our Game ranks with other high-level essays, authored by the likes of Gladwell, Percival, and Coyle. It's an in-depth study of our game, it's about the challenges players face in the heat of battle, and it's about the things that influence the way players need to train, both off and on the ice. Get it now, and be well armed to answer almost any question that arises about our game.
Are you ready to try a recipe that will increase your stamina, increase your immunity, and decrease inflammation in your body? This is Kim Lukhard, Hockey Mom RD, and today I'm going to share one of my family's favorite recipes with you. It's super simple, and you can cook it a little bit and use it again and again. It'll last for a couple of days. It's my angel hair pasta with beets recipe. The ingredients in this dinner or lunch recipe will help you increase your stamina, increase your immunity, and decrease inflammation throughout your body. To begin with, you need your ingredients. So head to your local farmer's market or favorite grocery store and pick up a bunch of beets. The recipe only calls for 2 fresh beets. 3 to 5 cloves. We love garlic in our household, so I tend to use 5 cloves, 1 medium onion, a box of angel hair pasta, and olive oil. Now you're going to want to prep your ingredients. So if you want to start with your beets, you do not have to peel them. Cut the stems off, cut the greens off. Yes, you can cook the greens. For this recipe, I only use the root vegetable part and chop them into about 1/2-inch cubes. Next, peel and chop your onion, and then peel and mince and dice your garlic. Then you're going to want to find the largest frying pan you have or wok. I tend to use our wok. Place 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the wok and let it warm up. It usually takes about 1 to 2 minutes on medium heat, depending on your stovetop. Toss in your garlic, onions, and beets and stir them around, sauteing them for about 5 minutes to sweat them to get the flavor to come out. Then what I do is I add about 1/4 cup of water and I cover my wok and I let these vegetables cook for about 20 minutes or until you can insert a fork into the beets and it goes in very simply. So I call that fork tender. Towards the end of the cooking time of your beets, onions, and garlic, you're going to want to go ahead and cook your pasta. Angel hair pasta cooks very rapidly, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. So you're going to want to just put your water on to boil about halfway through the cooking time of your beets, onions, and garlic, and then boil up your pasta, drain it. Go ahead and toss it with olive oil so it's easy to separate, especially if you want to cook off a bunch of pasta and save it for another meal. And then at the very end, the fun part, you toss your angel hair pasta with the beet mixture and the incredible dyes, the rich food dyes from your beets will color the pasta almost a purpley color. It looks kind of red here in the picture, but it's a fun dish to make. My husband loves it. Like I said, he's a meat eater and he goes back and gets 2 helpings of it. This recipe will help to increase your stamina because of the great carbohydrates in the meal. It is rich in vitamin C and inflammation reducing phytonutrients. Add a salad and some bread and something to drink and enjoy your dinner. This has been Kim Lukhard, Hockey Mom RD. Happy skating until next time. I hope you enjoy the recipe.
My 40 years in the game have me knowing that the best teaching involves bringing a player along slowly from one level to another. And it's also about helping a player over given humps. Now, please think about that last point for a minute. In all my years in the game, I believe the greatest quality a player can have is confidence. And nothing shakes a player's confidence more than getting stuck on a given skill or on a given tactic. That's why I've spent a lifetime studying training problems instead of running away from them. That's why I also felt the need to examine certain peripheral topics above and beyond my degree studies in physical education and coaching. Then, if you'll pardon my rough sketch, it's meant to represent the long climb a player needs to make from his or her first skate to where he or she wants to be. Of course, we'd all like to follow that straight green line. It isn't going to happen though, is it? No, even the best players will experience some setbacks or problems along the way. What we don't want is for a player to experience too many departures from the straight line, or extra long delays in their progress. And that brings me back to what I believe is the most important trait a good athlete can have. Confidence is what I mean. A quick lookup says, confidence is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. What it doesn't say is equally important, however, in that confidence can't be faked. And that pretty much defines all the players I've had in my charge over more than 40 years as a skills analyst and instructor. Most of my students felt really good about themselves. Most of them also look forward to training. Of course, most of them didn't spend much time suffering from problems or setbacks. As an aside, I used to teach a lot of adult beginner clinics, and I would make clinic members a serious promise before we ever took to the ice. I told them, if you just try what I show you, you'll be able to skate backwards and forwards, you'll be able to stop, and you'll be able to cross over to both sides by the end of this first session. Oh, they were as doubting as you might be, but about 2 hours later, they realized their old coach knew all the shortcuts and knew how to solve any problems they'd encounter.
Guys, speed isn't always about having to run long distances. And matter of fact, I think the more we work on one-step speed, I think the better timing we get and the better we do at lengthening out, or more importantly, making our speed better over longer distances. The other thing I think that's important is one-step speed really reinforces the deceleration control that we're looking for. Guys, Dave Schmitz, ResistanceBandTraining.com, with coming with you with 2 exercises that I think are important for you to take a look at when it comes to improving deceleration control and acceleration off of a stationary position or a dynamic cut, and making sure that your athletes really understand how to make that one step perfect. Let me show you the drills I'm talking about. I like to use a board for this, a platform, because I can take advantage of deceleration, but more importantly take advantage of gravity. So the board is going to accentuate gravity. The band is going to accentuate horizontal vector momentum, so it's going to accelerate momentum in that direction. And then lastly, when I have to re-accelerate off of my stop, the board is going to make me emphasize getting my knee up, and the band is going to emphasize getting my hips through and exploding. Let me show you what I mean. First of all, we're on the board. Now, in order for me to go ahead and go into this position, I'm going to have to bring this foot up to release it and plant off that leg. So the key is I want to get off that point as fast as possible. So I'm here and back off. So what I do is, instead of bringing this foot all the way off, I go ahead and leave it right there, because really what I'm interested in is that point. So I'm going to be here, bang, off, and ready to go again. Notice I pause. So I get my balance, get my control. I'm focused on getting off that point fast and then accelerating back over the board. Now if you want to accentuate the acceleration a little bit, fine. You can come all the way off the board, so it can look like this and come off. But really, all I'm worried about is that landing right there. That's all I'm worried about. Now you start doing that for a period of 40 seconds, 45 seconds, you notice you get your heart rate up real quick. Make sure you incorporate the pause. Now, let's bring rotation into it, because you don't always stop and then come back across. Sometimes you got to stop and accelerate out of that in a forward position. Turn and goes. So let me show you how that works. It's the same positioning, but now you're going to come on off. This is where the board comes in to give my foot something to drive off of, so I can really accentuate the drive off my right foot. Right there, I can explode off that foot, and it really gives me that power to come out. So it looks like this in regular face. And I'm coming off. A reset. And here you'll notice I actually step off the board. The drill is done. Now I'm going to reset. Now I'm going to reset. And that's all I'm working on. I'm working on that ability to go ahead and get off the ground quick. Now here's what you always do once you're done with that. Practice it without the band a couple times. So it's really working. You notice I lost my balance. It's so quick. So what I'm going to do is come off quick there. Or I'm going to go here and get back over on the board. What are you working on? Hey, it all comes down to how well that foot hits the ground. If that foot hits the ground in a good integrated pattern with good control against ground reaction forces, hey, you are going to get off that quickly, and you're going to start seeing your athletes really getting quick off their cuts, both laterally and if they got to turn and run.
They say necessity is the mother of invention, and nothing could be truer in my line of work. I'm always seeking to solve hockey problems, so I find it rather exciting when the solution to one issue spawns even more and more great ideas. That was the case as I planned a very short video to show my players an awesome exercise they could perform at home with just 2 short chunks of wood. The problems? My families were probably gonna throw away more wood than they'd be using. And I wasn't sure every member's household owned a saw. Not to worry though, because as I stared at my 8-foot long stud, my mind raced with ideas for using the leftovers. Better yet, I discovered that the total cost of the board, including tax, came to just $1.75, and that the lumber yard would actually cut the wood to my or my players' specifications. Now, I tried to avoid large knots as I selected my plank from a pile. At the same time, I wasn't too concerned about the slight warp present in most beams, since a large bend would virtually disappear as I cut the wood to shorter lengths. By the way, there's nothing exact in the way I've divided my 8-foot section of the 2x3. So, while I'm providing some rough lengths here, you're very apt to arrive at sizes more to your liking. programming is brought to you by Local Video Marketing.